Well, we're right at about 600 miles on the Biktrix Juggernaut Hub Duo. And so we're going to go ahead and let you know how it's been working out for us. So stick around. Well, hello again, Internet. Welcome back to the channel. Yeah, we're going to let you know about the Biktrix bike, what we like about it, what we don't like about it, what's worked, what needs some work, and give you our thoughts on it. But I want to make a little disclaimer, and this is after about 600 miles. Let's see exactly where we're at. We haven't been able to ride lately. We're at 580 miles, so 579 is what it registers on there. There we go. First off, I need to make a bit of a disclaimer. I am not a cyclist, but what I am is somebody that, how would we say this? If Michelle was here, she would say, goes overboard on everything. I tend to think of it more as I embrace what I am doing fully. That's it. I embrace what I am doing fully. But I'm not a cyclist, but when I get into doing something, I do it to the best that I can, to the point that when I was younger, I wanted to learn how to snow ski. And we are not in an area where you can practice a lot of snow skiing. So I never put a set of skis on my feet. I wouldn't even try it because I knew if I tried it, I would want to dive into it all the way. And so I never did it. That's kind of the way I am. It's not a good trait. It's not a bad trait. It's just a trait that you have to understand that you have. So when we're talking about these bikes that in general, let's go down here by the pond. When we are discussing these bikes, that for the most part we're talking about, these are almost all entry-level components that we're talking about. And you have to take that with the price in mind. I'm kind of seeing if our Heron is over here somewhere. It doesn't look like it. He ain't out today. You have to take that and keep that in mind when you're looking at these things, because I tend to compare these to some other bikes that I have looked at, and it's pretty hard to compare them because you're not talking the price. Yeah, I just looked at a Trek Rail 9.8. That's a $10,000 bike. Can you compare this to it? No, not a bit. So I want to keep that fair when I'm judging these things and when I'm evaluating them. That you get what you pay for on this. So I want to evaluate them with what they're paid for, because I see so many reviews of, oh, beast of a bike, the best e-bike there is, and they're just not. But you got to take the budget into mind as well. So without further ado, let's get on with this. What do I like about this bike? The style of it, I do really like it. It's a little heavier looking than what I would like, because I do like a lightweight bike. It's an electric bicycle. It's not a separate category. It's a category of a bicycle that has electric added to it. So I would like to see it just a little bit lighter than what it actually is. I would love to see them doing that. It is what it is. But let's take a look at this paint. Let's come around to this other side because we got the sun shining back there. The paint job on this bike, I love it. I absolutely love the paint job on this bike. The frame style. Oh, we got somebody coming down. The frame style. We're going to go ahead and give this guy a chance to come on by. All right, we had to cut that out. We had a truck coming through. Nobody ever comes through here, but we did have a truck coming through. But the paint job on this is just fabulous. It's got a metal flake to it. I don't know how well that shows up, but I really do like that. The frame style on this, I really wish I'd have cleaned it up so that you could see that paint job a little bit better. The frame style on this, I really do like. The step over frame, I think they make a stronger frame that way, and it just, to me, it appears right. The crank length on the pedals, everything there, I'm really pleased with. I like the way that the bike pedals. We did put accessory pedals on there that grab your feet just a little bit better. The full fenders, for what I am using this bike for, I really like. Up here in the front, we had to put a little piece of double-sided tape underneath of each because you could hear some vibration of this touching the brace there a little bit. And that was a little bit annoying, so we went ahead and put that in there. That took care of that. The RST guide forks, all of these forks are kind of like the pogo sticks that we used to work with, so but for what we're doing with it, I like it. The 3-inch tires, love them, love them. That's as large a tire as I really like for my #1 bicycle. The 9-speed on here, pretty good Altus derailleur on this bike. And for a hub drive bike, I've not had any problem with it. I did have to adjust it when it first came in, so I think they could do a better job of having them set when they come in, but it's easy enough to adjust. What I will also say is this bike comes with the same components as a mid-drive. I would be a little bit hesitant of not upgrading that derailleur on a mid-drive, because when you got all that torque coming through the chain and you're using that derailleur, you really should have a clutch on it when you're doing something like that. Rear rack here, plenty heavy enough. We have our toe peak adapter on here, so all my stuff just comes off with me when I take off. Brakes, never had a bit of problem with the brakes. They work fine. They're 2-piston hydraulic brakes. They're pretty much standard. I believe they're 180 millimeter rotors, front and back. No issues with them whatsoever. Like I say, we're not hammering on this bike. We're not out racing this bike. Integrated headlight and tail light. I really like that. Here's what I would like to see upgraded on that. I would like to see a chip in there that you can put these headlight and tail light onto a flash mode. That would mean I could eliminate this completely. If I get out into some traffic, I like to have a flashing headlight. I could eliminate that completely, and that would be very, very simple for any company to do, to have a flash mode on there. What else have we got? The stem up here, I got mixed feelings about this stem. Okay, I'm going to show you what it is. It's just one of these ones that's just a cap right here. It is adjustable, and you can adjust it up much higher than you can anything else. And the riding position on this is actually a very nice riding position compared to what I'm used to. What I dislike about it is it's not the best stem. It keeps you from tightening up as well as you should be able to on that, and you can, in some certain situations, get some of the death wobble on there. Well, you've seen I've taken this bike and rode an entire video without my hands on there, and it didn't do any death wobble. So it takes very specific conditions of a headwind coming in at you that's pretty strong, and the tire pressure is maybe down just a little bit. But it can do that, and that's not something that I'd like to see. So we may change that stem out, put a riser on it and a regular stem to where we could resolve that issue just a little bit. What else have we got here? The plug and play battery. Man, I got to tell you, I can go forever. That's 21 amp hour battery and a 17.5 amp hour on the inside. If I had to do it again, I would probably get the 17 amp hour range extender battery, because I would have plenty of range with that, and I could fit that into another bike, so I would have batteries that I could use. I could very easily get a tray for it, and I would have batteries that I could use on several different bikes. As it stands, this battery is large enough. It's not going to fit in the triangle of the majority of bikes that are out there. So yeah, that's what I would do a little bit differently, but I'm not sorry that I did what I did there. The hub drive, I do like that we do not have to worry about any kind of maintenance on it. This has a torque sensor in there as well, but the combination of them, I am enjoying the torque sensor even with the hub drive. Do I think you lose a little bit of a natural feel with the hub drive, even with the torque sensor? Yes, I do think you lose a little bit of a natural feel to it, but not so much that it's a deal breaker for me, because I do know what it's like to have to do this maintenance when you're in a hurry to go somewhere. With a backup bike being available, that's not a big deal. If you don't have a backup bike available, that's a big deal if you have to get something done. Yeah, have I had any issues with this bike whatsoever? Well, if you have watched my videos in the past, you know I did have some issue, not with this particular bike, but with this model of bike, that we had to send one back and get another one, and that's a whole little mini series of videos as it stands. But they got that tobacco pulled up that right here. That's the tobacco once they've pulled the leaves off. That's the stock that you got left on it. You know, I think we'll ride up the other way today. I'm going to head out that way when I finish up this video. I forget where I was at. I got to talking about the tobacco right there. But anyway, the ride on this bike is really nice. Oh, we do have a Suntour seat post on this. I think we've got another video that we can share that with you. I'm going to show you something that I did not show you on the seat video, because I actually really love this seat. And we've got, this was on my original one, so we've got, I don't know, about 800-900 miles on it. And we're starting to get some fraying right here in the front on this. So that's really not something I like, and I can tell you why it is because I step off right here all the time. This seat is way too high for me to straddle and be on it, because we do run with a full leg extension. I probably could get rid of this top tube bag. I could probably get rid of that, and that would eliminate a lot of that fraying right there. This is to hold a battery charger, battery bank for my phone, because we use that for navigation and everything. But honestly, I got a brand new phone, and so it would navigate without that. We might lose that. We might take that off for now, at least until my battery starts wearing down on my phone. The ride on this, and it's the Suntour seat post that we have on there. You can get a similar seat post through the company. It costs you a little more than what the Suntour would cost you. That's just because you're buying it through them. You can probably get that other type for about the same price, and they're going to be very similar. The Suntour is a good seat post, but you know, it's not all that in a bag of chips. It's okay. Seating position on this, I do like much better for longer rides than my Trek bike. I'm glad I made the change to an actual cruiser bike. I'm glad I made that change because it is a much more comfortable position. I can ride a whole lot farther on this. The 500C display right here, I actually like that more and more. At first, I wasn't crazy about that because it wasn't centered up here, and so it didn't look proper. You know, things are off center here. Remember I told you I go all the way in? That's part of that ADD that I have, I guess, that can be a good thing or a bad thing depending on how much you let it control you versus you control it. So I wasn't real crazy about that. I almost switched it out with the display on my Trek bike because I'd rather have something more stealth on it, but I didn't, and I'm going to be honest with you, I'm really liking it. I'm really liking it. What I may do when I change this stem out is put a phone mount right in the middle, and that'll have everything kind of symmetrical on that. So I've had no issues with the tires, no issues with the brakes, no issues at all with the motor, unlike the other one that we had. I did the screws that were coming out on that other bike. I took them all out, put longer screws in with lock thread on them, blue lock thread, and I've not had any problems with those. One other thing, let's get her. There's nobody coming on this. this road right here. One other thing that I'll mention about this bike that's a bad thing. That stupid kickstand. You know, when you go to back up, it just blocks everything off. If I can find one that I can just put a rear mount on that kickstand, I tell you, it can do me a lot of good, that one that I have, because what I can do is I can take it off of there and I can throw it as hard as I can into the woods, and then I can see if I can go find it. And if I find it, I get to practice throwing it again and see if I can, so it'll build up my arms a little bit. Anything else on the bike? Fit and finish on this bike is actually pretty good. Is it worth the money they charge for it? They sell this bike as the what do they say? It's the premier American bike, or the elite American bikes, and they're about the $2,500 mark. Are they worth that? Well, to me, it is, and I'll tell you why. The 3-inch tires are as big as I would want to go. The plug and play, man, I work on equipment all the time. I don't want to work on my bike, but I do want to have that extra battery with me anytime I'm going on a longer ride. The fit and finish on this bike are pretty good. The torque sensor combined with the hub motor feels pretty good to me. So overall, I like the bike. What would I do to improve on this bike? Basically, some of the, if it was going to be perfect, it would be some of the things that I had spoke about last year. I'd have it to where I can strobe all the lights. You know, have a flashing strobe on the headlight and tail light. 4-piston brakes would be good, but I don't know that that's necessarily a necessity for what we're doing here. If I was taking it off-road, it would be. And I would put a switch in it just because I think it would be a good sales pitch. I'd never use it, but to switch between cadence and torque sensor. There's a few bikes that have that now. Other than that, I'd keep it just the way it is. So I believe that's going to wrap it up on this one right here. Yeah, that's our 600-mile review or 580-mile review on the Biktrix Juggernaut Hub Classic Duo. So till the next one, Southern E-Biking telling you, stay safe, God bless, and keep the wheels rolling. Once again, we're out.